Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Korlick from Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and welcome to Playload. This is all my video game pickups for the month of December 2018. So first and foremost, the one thing that's not here that I know you guys have seen before is the Xbox One X. I bought one of those things earlier this month. I did an entire video on it, so there's really no reason to disconnect it and include it here. But yeah, Xbox One X, I got one of those. So beyond that, I also got some stuff here from various places. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about them. First things up, I went out to Sacramento for the SAC Gamers Expo. It was my first time ever at that particular convention. And so this was my badge and stuff. I was a guest of the convention. So that was really cool, along with Radical Reggie, who I'm sure a lot of you guys know. We had panels and we had our own booth and all that kind of stuff. They actually made up this cool little display thing for me. That was kind of cool. But it was cool. I'd never been to that particular convention before, so that was really neat. But yeah, so I got some stuff there from some stuff I got myself and some stuff that was basically donations. First thing actually was this. This is from Radical Reggie himself. This is fan made. This is not legitimate. This is a copy of Shenmue 2 for the Dreamcast, envisioned as an American release. This game never actually came out in the States for the Dreamcast. It came out in Europe, it came out in Japan, but never here. As you guys know, Shenmue, I'm a huge fan of the series. In fact, I just did a video with IGN Japan that you can go check out if you want to, in which I'm in that, which I filmed stuff in Dobuita in Japan for them. But yeah, so in this case, all this is the European build of the game, but it has the Xbox English audio. So it's a full disc, recreation, like an Etsy type of project that has American style artwork. It comes with its own manual and disc art. Now these are ultimately just CDRs, but like I said, they're slightly different. They have the English dub and all that stuff. And yeah, it's just a fan-made thing, and it was very cool. I mean, is this the way I'm going to play the game? No, but it's a cool thing to add into the collection. So thank you very much, Reggie, for hooking me up with that. Moving on, I was wandering around the convention, just kind of getting a feel for the place. And one of the things I noticed was a table run by these guys who have a store near Los Angeles called Game Tower. And I was talking to them because I had hung out with them in Portland for the Portland Retro Game Expo. And we were just chit-chatting for a bit. And ultimately, he gave me a game and his card. But this is a copy of Lilo and Stitch for the PlayStation 1. I was really only eyeing it because
sometimes I voice Stitch on videos on my other channel, Game Society Pimps.
Although my version of Stitch is very vulgar, if you actually like the character, you wouldn't probably want to hear that. Not child-friendly, let's put it that way. But yeah, anyway, so he just hooked me up with that. So obviously a really cool dude. So if you guys are ever down near Los Angeles, you can check out his store again. It's called Game Tower. I've never been there personally, but I mean, obviously an awesome guy. So yeah, if you're near LA, go check out Game Tower. So thank you again for that. And that kind of happened again later. I was wandering around and I met up with this dude who runs a store called GG Retro Gaming. Also gave me his card. We were chatting for a bit and he hooked me up with this. This is a copy of Resident Evil 2 for the GameCube. This is a little different though. He's based out of Sacramento, but he has a store, an online website. I'll put the link in the description if you want to buy anything there. I also worked out a deal with him for you guys. If you use a coupon code, all the information for this will be in the description. But if you use the coupon code, you'll get 10% off of any order. So feel free to check it out if you want to. But yeah, like I said, he hooked me up with Resident Evil 2 for the GameCube. Now, I've kind of mentioned in the past, I have this quasi goal of getting every GameCube game that never came out on the original Xbox. And I've always even though the Resident Evil games also came out on the Dreamcast and stuff, I've always kind of wanted them. So yeah, having Resident Evil 2 is cool to have. But yeah, I played this version for a bit. This one has certain advantages, like the fact that it's only one disc, so all the content's on there. But it's if this version supported progressive scan, this would be like the definitive console way to play it. But it doesn't, which is weird. The Dreamcast version does, but the GameCube version doesn't. So I still go with the Dreamcast version for the prettiest experience. But yeah, this is definitely cool to have. So thank you very much to the guys at GG Retro Gaming. Like I said, link in the description if you want to check them out. Moving on, also got a couple of donations. There was a girl named Jenna and her friend that came over and just chatting with me, and they were chatting with Reggie for a bit, and they gave each of us donations, which you don't have to do. If we ever come to a convention or whatever, we don't expect people to give us stuff. But that said, Jenna still wanted to, so she gave me two things. The first up, and they're both basically like gag things, she said that much. This is Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective for the TurboGrafx CD. Now, I don't even own a TurboGrafx CD, and I told her that, and she's like, oh, I know. But this way, when you get one, you'll have a game to test. Even though this game sucks, you'll have something to verify if the console works or not. So that was smart thinking on your part, Jenna. Thank you. So yeah, I've got that ready to go. And the other thing she got, and there was more of a story to this one, she got me this. This is the Controller Pro U for the Wii and Wii U. It's basically like a third-party Wii U Pro controller with like a Super Nintendo controller like also built in it. And she said she got this at Toys R Us. Now this thing had been on clearance at Toys R Us before they were going bankrupt. So when they went bankrupt and they were like clearing everything out, it went on like super clearance. So she said by the time they rang it up, it only came up as a nickel, and the person wanting to do the transaction didn't want to deal with a nickel's transaction, so she just gave it to her. And then she told me that story, and she's like, and I'm giving it to you. So yeah, there you go. Random third-party Wii U controller. Thank you so much for that, Jenna. And I got some other stuff at the convention. This is the stuff I got on my own. I got, for the PS4, the Resident Evil Origins collection, so it's kind of a Resident Evil themed day there. I had wanted that. I also found actually a Resident Evil 4 controller for the GameCube, like the chainsaw one. But I didn't buy it. It didn't have a price tag on it. I don't really like to ask about prices, so I didn't bother. But I've always kind of wanted one of those things. But yeah, so there was a lot of Resident Evil stuff going on there. But yeah, I got this, and I've wanted this collection for a while. I wanted the Xbox One version, but you know, this was only a couple bucks. Somebody had it there, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it. And this is really cool. If you've never played these games, this is Resident Evil 1 Remake for the GameCube originally, and Resident Evil 0 originally for the GameCube, but all upgraded in high definition for the PS4 and Xbox One. I actually sat down and played both of these since the convention. I don't even really know where I found the time to do that, but I did. I had a lot of fun doing it. Having actually played this all the way through in comparison to the others, obviously character models and things like that are much cleaner than they originally were, but because this game was originally developed for the GameCube and due to the way the Resident Evil games always kind of worked, where it was pre-rendered backgrounds, some elements clean up much nicer than others. Like the character models clean up amazingly well, but the backgrounds not so much, because they were essentially glorified just still pictures originally, and they didn't, I think there's a very limited amount of work they could actually do to improve those. So character models look a lot nicer than the backgrounds. I mean, they always did, but now it's like really obvious, the juxtaposition between the two. It's now supports widescreen and stuff. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this, but yeah, I really enjoyed the experience. I had a hell of a lot of fun with it. But the cutscenes also originally done for the GameCube, and those original releases only supported interlaced 480i content. So the FMV footage, when it skips to that, it looks bad. But yeah, no, it's still a fun, a great experience. I'm hoping to pick up the Xbox One version at some point and replay them again, but for now, I have a PS4 version. Speaking of Xbox stuff though, I've mentioned it many times, I still want to get an original Xbox full set. It's still a goal of mine. Far off, but I'm chipping away at it. I picked up a couple of games there. I got Phantom Crash. I got Scarface, The World Is Yours. Dance Dance Revolution Ultra Mix 4. And finally, Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2. This one, my other channel on Game Society Pimps, we actually just recorded footage of this, so we'll be doing videos on this. These things are hysterical to make videos out of, because it's just such a dumb, hilariously stupid premise. So basically, think Call of Duty or first-person shooters in general, but the opposition is animals, just like animals in the forest. It's insane. But anyway, so there you go. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, that was the SAC Gamers Expo. So again, thank you to everybody involved in that. Like right after I got back to Chicago from Sacramento, I was home for a couple of days, and then I went down to Raleigh, North Carolina for a Ubisoft event, specifically for the Division 2. The Ubisoft brought me down there. And those things, you just play the Division 2. I can't really talk about the actual game as per NDA rules, but they did give me some stuff, so I thought I would show you guys. A badge. There you go, just the Division 2, it's just got my name on it, one of my channels. There's also a poster they gave me, which I unfortunately had to fold a bit, but there you go, Division 2 poster. And then finally, they had these set up for guests. This is just like a big board that's just, hey, I'm an agent, and it has my name on it, and that's all. It was a little cool, you know, memento type of thing. But yeah, so Division 2, like I said, I can't really talk much about it right now, but it'll be coming later. And there'll be videos on it on my other channel on Game Society. You can check that out if you want to. So I went to Raleigh, North Carolina, spent the night there, woke up, did the event, went back to the airport, came home one night. Next morning, I went down to Austin, Texas. In Austin, Texas, I went down there, hung out with Chip. We did a live stream from down there, which I know a lot of you guys tuned into, so thank you very much for being there. And one of the days while I was there, he took me out to a Best Buy and basically convinced me to buy some stuff because I still have Gamers Club unlocked, which is 20% off of all games. That's going to expire in a couple of months. So he kind of was like, dude, what are you waiting for? You know, like, time's running out. So you should use that. And then, of course, I was in Texas, so sales tax is substantially lower. So I was like, all right. So we picked up some stuff. For the Nintendo Switch, I got a few games. I got Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. I've always kind of wanted this just because of its, Sega roots. I didn't think they had much, if anything, to do with this particular series, but right here on the back, it still says Sega. I'm pretty sure they're just the IP holder, but I think they really don't have anything to do with the actual game. I think they have as much to do with this as they do with Shenmue 3, which is basically nothing. They just technically own the IP. But there you go, there's that. And then speaking of Sega, this is the Sega Genesis Classics Collection for the Switch version. I went to an event for this in New York City. They brought me out there earlier this year. That was really fun, man. I got to hang out with a bunch of people I know, I've seen at different events, people I've talked to before but never actually met in person, like Proton John, or the Hip Hop Gamer I've seen at everything. He and I were hanging out together. And then of course I met Xavier Woods, the wrestler, who is also, he won the tournament. The guy is amazing at video games. Like, he earned that title. But anyway, so that was fun. And I also got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate because I think it's a rule if you have a Switch, you have to own this game. Nintendo stuff in general doesn't really go on sale that much, so Gamers Club Unlocked is really nice for first party Nintendo stuff. Played it a bit. I've enjoyed it. I'm just not very good at fighting games. I don't know. I still like it, but one cool thing that pushed me over is that Chip actually pre-ordered the game, and he got this. This is a Super Smash Brothers like collectible coin that Best Buy gives out. They actually sent him 2 of the coins, and he didn't want either of them, so he gave them both to me, and I was like, all right, well then I probably should own the game to go with it. And the other coin is going to my buddy Fox, just because he collects those as well, so thank you, Chip. And then I also got some Xbox One games. All of these were on sale. This is LEGO DC Super Villains Deluxe Edition. This is $40 when it was on sale, plus you get 20% off. I should say there's 20% off of all of these. And this one I wanted because I love these LEGO games. They're really a lot of fun. There's a lot to do in them. It's totally worth the money for the entertainment. This one also came with the season pass, so it had all the DLC. So that brought it down to like $32 or so. Plus, this came with a movie ticket for Aquaman, which I have to go use, but that's like another $10 worth of savings right there because I was going to see that anyway. So I thought this was totally worth the price tag on it, so hell yeah. Then State of Decay 2. Now, there's also a collector's or more like limited edition version of this that's like twice the amount. That one's like 40, this one's 20. So I got this for, what would have been, like 16? But yeah, so the more collectible one, if you will, I noticed that what it seems to come with, what makes it more valuable or more expensive, other than the box art, is that it comes with a download code for the first game, which I don't need because I have a physical of the first game. And then it also came with like early access to some DLC, which is no longer in early access because it's already out. So I was like, I don't know what the point of this is. So I just got the more vanilla one. I'm sure there was something else to it, but I was like, whatever, screw it, I'll just get that one. And then finally, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which was also on sale. So that was a nice big haircut because this is like $6 game. They were only charging 30, brought it down to 24 or so. So yeah, awesome to have that as well. So yeah, picked up some cool stuff down in Texas. When I came back to Chicago, while I was in Texas, I was actually texting a friend of mine at Ubisoft, and I was just like, because I think it was Starlink, which you can see here, was on sale, and I was like, yeah, Starlink's already on sale. That's pretty cool. And she was like, yep, or something like that. And then I came back, and this had been mailed to me. She just sent me a nice stack of Starlink stuff. So the thing with Starlink is that I played the game early at events and stuff. I played it for Xbox One and PS4, and I've been very open about this. I didn't like those versions, but the Switch version I actually quite enjoyed. It felt like a Star Fox game that we never got, again, because he's in the game. So I said, I thought I wanted to get the Switch version, but I didn't expect her to actually send me that stuff. So she sent me a couple of the extra toys to go with it, which you can see there. I'm not really into the whole Toys to Life thing, by the way, guys. It was just cool of her to do that. But there you go. And then the actual game right there. So the R-Wing is cool, of course, because at least that's like a, you know, an iconic Nintendo thing to put with everything. So yeah, very cool. So thank you to my friend at Ubisoft. And speaking of them, they also sent out the annual Christmas gift. You would think I work for Ubisoft at this point, but I do not. But they send me stuff from time to time. And this year, what they gave out for Christmas was these. This is umbrellas. It's just a nice umbrella and says Ubisoft on it. Ubisoft has a tendency to basically get a lot of surplus items of things like this. Like one of my favorite jacket and my favorite backpack are like actual items made by different companies, and then Ubisoft just kind of customizes them by putting their logo on them or something like that, and then they'll send those out. So very cool right there. So thank you to my pals over at Ubisoft. And the last thing that we've got here that I want to show you guys, that I have to show at all, is this package right here. Now the deal with this package is that it came in between one of these trips somewhere, and I didn't know what it was, so I just kind of left it because I didn't know if maybe it was something I was supposed to do a review on or whatever. I just didn't have time to think about it. I believe I went up to, right after I got back from Texas is when I found it, brought it here, then went up to Wisconsin because I had to go up there to do some Game Society Pimp stuff. So I go up there and I get an email from the person who sent it. His name is Eren, or possibly Aaron. I'm not entirely certain that how he pronounces it actually. I'm gonna say Aaron even though it might be Eren. But he's like, hey, did the package come? And I read through the email and I'm like, oh right, this. So Eren contacted me, or Aaron contacted me back in June. And said, hey, I got this thing, I'm moving out of my place, I don't want it, do you want it? And I told him like, no, you don't have to do that. And he was like, I'm just gonna toss it if you don't want it, because I am moving, I don't need it. And I was like, all right. And then he never sent it, so I totally forgot about it. And I don't hold that against him in any way for not sending it. It's a very common occurrence. But he sent me an email and saying like, okay, it arrived. Sorry it took so long, but it's there now. So first of all, you don't owe me an apology for any sort of delays. But again, thank you very much for doing that. And you didn't have to do that. And that applies to everybody. You don't have to send me stuff. You really don't. But that said, he did send this. So we're going to open it up now and take a look at it. So going in there with the box cutter, which once again, thank you to Kyle for hooking me up with a box cutter. In there. Inside, we've got a few, right, okay. He said he hadn't tested this in a long time, so he didn't know if it still worked, but he figured I'd be the one to get it up and running. So it's got some cables here, and then some manuals and some discs, which would give away immediately what it is, so screw it, let's just do it. It's manuals for 3 Dreamcast games: Test Drive Le Mans, Soul Calibur, and Resident Evil Code Veronica, as well as the copies of the discs. There's Resident Evil Code Veronica Disc 1, Disc 2, Soul Calibur, and Test Drive Le Mans. And inside we have one of these Nexus Dreamcast memory cards. And I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Right here, it appears to be a Dreamcast. So let's open it up here. And now that we know what it is, yeah, he told me, like I said, that he didn't know if it worked anymore. He didn't really have the capacity or necessarily the interest maybe to test it. So he was just like, just take it, whatever. So I will fire it up and see what the results are. But yeah, let's get to it here. It is right here, a Sega Dreamcast, and another Dreamcast to add to the collection. It is a Revision 1, which is the most common model, but that makes sense. Feels heavier than usual, or maybe I'm just tired, but either way. Yeah, thank you very much to Eren for hooking me up with this. You really didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. But yeah, I'm gonna fire it up soon here, and let's put it on the screen if it worked or not. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Oh, and then, well, I guess there's also the cables. He gave me some composite cables, which I don't really need, but also a power cable. That was really cool to do. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you to Eren. Thank you to the guys at Ubisoft. Thank you to the people at SAC Gamers Expo. Thank you to Jenna, Game Tower, GG Retro Gaming, Radical Reggie, and everybody. Thank you everybody, of course, you guys for watching. Thank you to my buddy Kyle for everything he did. Thank you to Chip. Surprise, I thought we were done with the video too. So when I was in post-production, I noticed one thing on the table that I simply forgot to discuss, and that wasn't gonna be that big of a deal, except that I also got some packages while I was in editing, so I figured, what the hell, I'm gonna include these in the video as well, so sorry about the odd nature of this. The first thing up is this. This is just a chocolate bar from my YouTube MCN. It's got an ad on it for Eagle Island, which is a game that they made, so that's cool. Thank you very much over to Justin Silverman for sending that my way. And then the other things are a couple of packages. First one is just something I bought. This comes from GameFly specifically. If you're not familiar with GameFly, and I don't blame you because not too many people seem to use them anymore as far as I can tell, but GameFly is a physical rental service done online where you pay for a subscription and they mail you discs, you try them out and you return them, you know, kind of like the older Netflix model. But they also have, part of the reason I still use them is they are amazing for buying used games. And in this case, what I got was this. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Nintendo Switch. Substantially reduced over there, especially because I had a bunch of like coupon codes all saved up from being a member. So yeah, you get the full complete copy, which of course these days doesn't have a manual anyway. But yeah, this was a really cool game on the Wii U originally, but they ported it over to the Switch because once again, you have to mine the Wii U's you know, gold just to improve the Switch, which whatever. But still, it was a cool game, so it's cool that they brought it over. Hopefully it has, I'm sure it has some more content. Actually, yeah, featuring new courses based on Super Mario Odyssey. So yeah, it's not just a straight port, they did add some new stuff, so very cool. And now I got this package as well. This one actually comes from my buddy Fox, which is funny because I mentioned him earlier. So let me open it up and then we'll talk more about it. But yeah, I had no idea this was going to come today. The timing on this was just amusing. Let's see here. If I can get this to open cleanly. So my buddy Fox, who I mentioned, like I said, just in this video, lives out in South Korea, but I see him from time to time out in Japan. And when I see him, we typically we hang out and you know we get stuff, and he's usually helping me in those Japanese pickups videos and stuff like that. So in this case, he included a letter right here. Hey Adam, it is I, Fox. Enclosed here within this box is a box. Enclosed here within is a box. This is a dock, another dock, and another dock. The biggest one is basically just the shell, since the Nintendo licensed guts are inside the smallest one. The medium-sized one is a cool design, but it can brick your Switch. Funny story, I actually just got back from Thailand when I saw YouTube videos about the Nyko killing consoles after the 5.0 OS update. I have the stock dock permanently on my desk, so the Switch updated there, but I've been using the Nyko the previous week and apparently missed the bricking system by about 30 hours. Anyway, that's when I built my first portable refit of the original dock. Yours is the improved version of the same. Enjoy it, travel with it, show it off. I recommend keeping the little box it comes in. Great as a cheap travel case for it. If you do like me, you might want to get one of these semi-hard portable hard disk cases for it that will hold the dock and a short HDMI cable for the road and keep the dust out. If you're curious what the mod process looks like, let me know and I'll text you a link to the SwitchCat video of it. It's not a tutorial. That's one of his channels. If you have any high-value targets, you know where to reach me. Take it easy, Fox. Like I said, Fox is a buddy of mine who helps me grab stuff while I'm out in Japan a lot of the time. Hung out with him multiple times, but he also, you know, since he lives out in that region, he'll find cool stuff. So for people, I'm sure that was not super clear what exactly is happening here. Fox is a huge fan of the Nintendo Switch. So he made me a Switch dock. And he also included a couple of other ones. So let's just open everything up and take a look here. Now, this is the shell, just the shell of an original Nintendo Switch dock, as I'm sure you guys are familiar with. When I was in Japan last time, I bought this specifically at a hard off, a used one, with the intention of having him basically create a new one for me. And that would be, I believe, this is the Nyko one. And then this is, I believe, the new one here. That's why he said the smallest box. Open it up here. There we go. This, my friends, is my new Nintendo Switch dock. Now, what this is the guts of the official dock put inside of a newer, smaller case. Now, you might ask, well, what do you need that for? Well, it's not so much that you need it, it's just that it has advantages. Other than it being smaller, it's the official guts of the console. He alludes to the fact in there that third-party docks, much like this one, the Nyko one, actually can potentially brick your console, largely because Nintendo doesn't really want people doing that. So they wouldn't brick this because this is the hardware of their own unit. He simply put it into a new shell that he created. And I'm thinking like, well, why do you need a new shell? Convenience aside, one thing that it actually is beneficial to have this for is the heating issue. Switches are kind of known to heat and bend in this particular case. Now this case is relatively foolproof to put the console into, you just slide it in. This one will require a little bit more effort, but this one's also just nicer for, display purposes, depending, how you set the console up and all that. But yeah, it also will take up less space in my setup, so that's pretty neat. Yeah, in addition to just being a smaller, more compact design, it will also probably improve the longevity of my console. So very cool that he came through and did that. So also very fitting that this game came at the exact same time. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much to Fox for doing that, and thank you to Justin Silverman for hooking me up with the candy bar. And thank you once again to everybody I already thanked in the earlier part of the video. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all later.